What up, guys? Chris Sloan here again, aka Irish 2K. Welcome to this week's episode of The Irish One. Holy shit, 2 back-to-back. We're on a roll. Last week's episode got a lot of eyeballs on it. I got a lot of feedback, and I appreciate everybody who reached out to me. It means a whole lot. Yeah, I mean, I went on a bit of a tangent on a bunch of different things, but it felt good. It feels good to get it off your chest, and that's what this is going to be. In my mind, I was thinking about this today. Irish 2K is a persona. So it is a version of me that is, it's me. I'm doing it. I'm talking. I'm the one participating in all of it. But it's very much me just trying to be entertaining. And the Irish one, the reason why I wasn't like connected with the Irish 2K cast thing was because I feel like I was still being Irish 2K, but in a different form. Where this, I didn't want it to be that. I really wanted to be Chris Sloan talking in a forum that is on the Irish 2K YouTube channel, but it doesn't have to be Irish 2K. I get to be Chris Sloan there. And in my mind, I always laughed because the whole Irish thing is, it's all heritage. Anybody who knows me knows. The moment I found out I was Irish, at the moment everything else made sense. Why I love Notre Dame so much. That's why you see the hat back there. Why everything in my life is about like anger. And I'm not a booze bag, but I can handle my own. Throw me about 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide beers. I can handle myself. But no, it like took over my whole mindset. And so everything that came with gaming was the raging and the freaking out and the overreaction to shit. It's genuine for me because I'm doing a bit, kind of. Like I'm being myself, but I'm being a version of myself that allows people to feel like, I guess to feel happy, to laugh, to be entertained by some goofball on the internet who is trying his best to play a video game. And the cast of people that I've put around that is very much, people that it works with. That's why there's been so many different people. You end up having to find it, just like real life. You end up kind of going through your friend groups, your little, your cliques as you get older. And, even when you get into your 40s, my parents are prime examples. You still get your little cliques. But you go through that process until you find the people that mesh the best for that version of you in your life, that chapter of who you are. And that's why I think personally, Irish 2K has always been something I loved because of that. And the Irish one was a nickname that stemmed from the whole Irish 2K stuff. I changed my intro to some of my gaming videos and I put the Irish one presents. And it's a man, myth, legend production, but you see it at the beginning of all this. And none of those are real companies, but it's all part of the bit. It's all part of the gimmick. That of course Irish 2K is such an cynical, egotistical, self-righteous douchebag that he would make up his own company, the Irish one, and then that company would have a production company, like. Like, of course. So that was always the bit. But I like doing this stuff. This is the stuff that, like, I enjoyed the most. The behind the scenes. So, like, if you watch the live streams, if you watch the gaming videos, you see that version of me that just, it works. It's funny. It's me. You can tell I'm having a good time. But you don't get to know Chris Sloan. Like, if you're with my family or my friends, you know Chris Sloan. But if you're not, you see the Irish 2K stuff and you think that's it. That's how it's whole gimmick. But most people look at that and they're like, he's being fake. That he's hiding something. And so that's why I wanted to do the Irish one so that you could see. I'm aware that the person you're watching is not fully me. I'm aware that the person, behind the scenes is much more fragile, is much more vulnerable, is very often afraid of everything. And, I get to present that and show that you can be different people in different scenarios, and it doesn't make you a fake person. It makes you adaptable. And that's what people, I feel, don't have anymore is the adaptability. There we go. Of the situations you're in. People think they have to be this one version of themselves, especially like douchebags or people who are very controversial. They think that that's who they got to be all the fucking time. The person my mom gets, it's not the person that, my friend Josh gets. The person that a relationship gets, that version of Chris Sloan, nobody else gets. The version of me my children get is not the same version that, so-and-so I went to high school with and ran into at a store. They don't get the same person. So it's not fake. You adapt because you don't want to give away all of yourself to everybody. Because if everybody has all of you, then what do you have? See what I'm saying? You have nothing. You have less. You have nothing for yourself. You have nothing that you get to be proud of because everybody knows everything and they judge it all the time. And nobody will ever know how hard you judge yourself. So you have nothing. But I don't have that problem. I get, there's a version that this camera and the gaming stuff and that like all the people in my life, there's a version of me that none of you get. It's very private. And I would say that version of me is probably the one I have the closest connection to because I don't let anybody in with that person. That's the person that when you're sitting at home and a bunch of shit's going on and you're processing your day and you're talking to yourself, that inner monologue, that is the closest version of you that there is. And what you and that person discuss, you should never share with anybody, mainly because it's probably horrible, but also, you do discuss a lot of emotional shit and a lot of the decisions you make. So that's why this show, to bring a very long point to a conclusion there, that's why this show exists, because I want to share a different side of me that not many get. It's not the one that I hide from, it's not the one that I hide from everybody else and keep for myself. It's the version that, maybe closer friends get, but I know that, I'm not exposing myself here. Like the Irish 2K cast stuff was very much me being very vulnerable for no goddamn reason, because I should have been in therapy. I should be in therapy, but instead I talk to a camera and that's my therapy. But the goal with this is to not be too open. Be open enough that maybe you catch onto something and it's like, it helps you, but not so open that it feels uncomfortable, which is what those episodes were for me. They were so uncomfortable. But I saw the feedback. I saw the views and all that stuff, the TikTok stuff and all the comments. And like I said, thank you so much. And that's my goal. Just keep this thing rolling. So the focus of that last episode was talking about, dating at my age. But along with the dating stuff comes the ramifications of dating. You end up in a lot of situations where you get your feelings hurt. And recently, I had a situation like that. And, recently was talking to Josh, who I mentioned earlier. And, we've been friends since we were teenagers. And he mentioned, based on the things that I was saying, which I'll keep private, that I need to see, or maybe I should look into like a men's group. And the moment it hit my ear, I learned a lot about myself. First of all, you'll never catch me dead in a men's group. Not that they aren't very valuable in society. Men's groups are probably huge in that community, in I guess my community. But for me, absolutely not. And I think two things factor into that: my family and certain people that decided they didn't want to be my family. Let's put it like that. My family, and I'll elaborate, obviously. My family, I was raised by my mom. I've talked about this in other instances of my voice being on the internet. My mom was a very young woman when I was born, and my grandmother stepped in and helped her quite a bit while she, had to live her life, had to grow up a lot very quickly. And my grandmother gave her an opportunity that not many women get, which is a chance to be young. And my grandmother understood something that not many people get to understand, which is life can be short, man. You need to enjoy the parts of it that matter. And my mom got that chance, and then she didn't take long. She was right back in my life. And I watched my mom struggle with men. I watched my mom struggle with life, with, jobs and money. And she always managed to smile around me, which, at the end of the day, that's what you got to do. No matter what's goings on, you got to smile in front of the babies. But, she was a tough woman. She went through a lot of shit. And I wasn't surrounded by a bunch of dudes at the time, so a lot of my youth was my mom, my grandmother, my mom's friends, the females in my family, and my grandpa. That's it. I didn't have anybody else, and it wasn't even my real grandpa. It was my step grandpa, if you want to call it that. But I didn't know any different, so grandpa to me for a very long time. My dad was older. He was still a teenager. He was 18. My mom was very young. And this is back when nobody gave a shit, apparently. Like nowadays, my dad would be fucking crucified. But back then, nobody gave a shit. He was 18. My mom was younger. And he wanted nothing to do with me at all. He actually did the whole, hey, my baby. And boy, was he fucking wrong. Shit happened, we saw a lot of pain together, my mom and I, and you lose sight of that growing up when you're a teenager. And it's, you look back at life and you try to remember the things that hurt you the most. And my dad was one of those people. My mom didn't really give a shit. That's what I love about her. She was like, whatever, bitch, I don't give a fuck. But there were other men in my mom's life that I personally witnessed hurt her. And those ones I remember vividly. Because anytime my mom cried, I always, it's such a weird sighting. But my dad wasn't one of the people that hurt my mom, at least not visually for me. I might have been too young to see it, but there were other men who did hurt my mom. And so, in my opinion, knowing what I know about women, which is not much more than most men, but more than most, what the fuck is a men's group going to complain about? Oh, a woman broke your heart? Okay, well, there are men who do way worse things. A woman stole from you. There's men who steal. There's men who rape. There's women who rape, but there's a lot more men who rape. And men will rape men. You know what I mean? Like, men are fucking horrible. Like, I genuinely, you can call me a man, man-hating, whatever you want to call me. That's fine, because I know the truth. And it's not just that, it's not like an isolated example that I base this on. My best friend in the whole world, I watched him get played by women. So I have both sides of the coin, but I'm telling you, I've seen the men who I grew up with, the men in my friends groups, I've seen them absolutely devastate women and like manipulate them and play them. I always tell a story. I won't say any names, obviously, but back when I was a teenager, I was chilling at a friend's house. I was like 16, 17 at the time. We sat on the couch. We woke up at like 10 a.m. I remember this because a certain cartoon had come on at 10 a.m. And I was like, oh, this is my shit. We watched the cartoon. We watched like 3 or 4 movies. And by the end of our couch session, it was nighttime. So that means we woke up, didn't do a goddamn thing all day. It was just like a Saturday. And during that time, so let's just say 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., okay? Little window of time. In that time, I watched one friend bring 4 girls in and out of the house. In the same day, 4 different females. He'd go up with one, come back down with her. New one would come, go back up, come back down with her. New one would come, he went back up, come back down with her. Last one came, went back up, came down. She didn't leave, she had beers, but ew. I'm sure there's women who do that. I'm sure there is. But in my experience, mostly men. None of those women knew of each other. I don't know if my friend was safe. You know what I'm saying? So there's a devil's advocate for everything. But in my opinion, you will never catch me dead in a men's group. Period. I'll speak. I've had male therapists. I have no problem talking with them. But if you put me in a men's group to bitch about the plight of men, knowing what I know, it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. I'm just going to be sitting there like, every one of you's a bitch. Like, but you know what it is? I'm biased. I'll genuinely tell you, like, I'm not ashamed of my feelings, but I'm very aware that I am biased because of my upbringing, because of the people around me. But that's not even the whole thing. Like, my sisters have been hurt and played and manipulated by men. I've been hurt by women. I've been hurt by women a handful of times. Large amount of times, if I'm being honest, but some of my worst pain were women. But I would say the most devastating pain I ever felt was when a friend betrayed me over a woman, over a woman that I married. Like, that hurt so deep, because like, you almost, as a man, you almost kind of anticipate that being hurt by a woman is a possibility. But when you're like boys with somebody, like die hard, like ride or die, and then they hurt you, somehow that hurts worse. Because it's almost like you didn't even put that in the Rolodex of possibilities of shit that could happen. You're like, this is my homie. You know, me and him woke up 6 a.m. to do a podcast in the ice cold, in a shed with a fucking space heater. The podcast quality was shit, but we did it every single Sunday morning because, you know, we was boys. So to have that person betray me hurt way worse than anything a woman's ever done to me. So I just, you know, it is what it is. I could never do it, is the summarization of that. And I have plenty more examples of reasons why men have harmed me and the women of my life far worse than any woman's ever harmed me or the women of my life. But I'll spare you because you get the fucking point. But I think what I think the message he was trying to get to me was you need to be more in tune with yourself. As a man, you need to be more in tune with yourself. You shouldn't let a woman, or, you know, it doesn't matter who you're interested in. If you're gay, you shouldn't let the another gay person do this to you. And this being, have you believing that you're not worthy of love, not worthy of happiness, not worthy of the benefits of life, you know, because that's what happens. And in the conversation I was having, that was kind of the point I was getting at, was, you know, maybe this happened to me because of X, Y, and Z. And it was very self-deprecating. And my friend the point he was trying to make was you need to be more in love with yourself. You need to be cool with yourself. And he's not wrong. And he's not the only person who said that to me. But the pitch of the men's group just absolutely enraged me and then tickled me in the same fucking moment, because I wouldn't look anybody in the eyes. I could not show you that respect. I'm sorry. But I'm sure everybody who goes to the men's group, I'm sure, have a legitimate reason for being there. I'm saying that, not even being sarcastic, a legitimate reason for being there. And I hope that everybody who goes gets the help that they need. But there is no chance in hell you would find me at that group, because that's not who I am. Because, I mean, like, I'm just going to be sitting in a room full of 9 motherfuckers in chairs, right? And they're going to be just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. And then I'm like, as they're processing all these things and I'm thinking about my own shit, in my head, I'm going to be like, once a month, women's bodies just decide that they're going to be in pain. And the duration of that pain, I don't know. But I know it's going to hurt. And I know there's nothing you could do about it. That fact alone, let's not even start on childbirth. Let's just talk about that one thing alone. That nullifies everything that I'm going through in my mind, because I would take my miserable ass life, I said last, my midlife that belongs to me, I would take that tenfold over having my body just go blood. Fucking no. Nope. So yeah, fuck men's groups. Can't do it, man. Can't do it. But I you know what? I get it, man. I get it completely. The message was clear. You need to be more in love. You need to love yourself. And doing things, and like I've said fucking every episode since 13 of Irish 2K Cast, you gotta do the things. You gotta do the stuffs. And I'm a lazy motherfucker, but I put myself out there. I went out and touched some grass, as us internet trolls would say, and it was very pleasurable. And but I enjoyed myself quite a bit, and I got to get closer with my sister and her boyfriend, who I'm a big fan of, and it felt nice. I didn't feel the social anxiety I've felt a million times before. A little bit in the beginning, but a couple of those orange wheat bears, they'll put you there. They'll put you exactly where you need to be. And we had a great night. And I have future plans to put myself out there and just be around people. It's not, not every decision you make and not every person that you hang around has to be this like political fucking move on a piece of, or on a chessboard. You can go hang out with somebody and it mean nothing. It mean nothing but just two people trying to have a good time, or a group of people trying to have a good time. And that's what I'm trying to get back to, is enjoying life. Because before this snafu, I felt like I got to a point where like even looking for a partner right now was just not in the cards. That I had a much better time putting my productivity into myself. And out of nowhere, this situation came up, and it went south pretty fast, but it was worth it for the experience. And the biggest thing that I had to do was say, even though this happened, it doesn't mean that interaction with that person is gone forever. It just means it can't happen right now. And that's fine. That's totally fine. Life has a weird way of working. I've had now 2 different instances of my life where, technically 3 different instances of my life where I thought I would never see this person again. I thought that the termination of this connection was going to be terminated for good. And that person came around out of motherfucking nowhere and put themselves right back in front of me. That's happened on 3 different occasions with 3 different people. So for me to be like, oh, I'll never see, that's so silly. So yeah. You're going to notice like cuts in this. Just know that the camera decided at random points to just not fucking focus on my face. And I'm probably moving too much, but I don't give a shit. This is worth it. But so yeah, just love yourself and enjoy life and stop taking everything so fucking seriously all the time. Take your life seriously. Take like your responsibilities seriously, but social dynamics, man, that needs to just be whatever it is. Whoever wants to be in your life, they're in your life. If they don't want to be in your life, fuck them. It is what it is, man. I think I definitely hit on the topic that I want to talk about today, which is just how absolutely nonsensical it would be for me to do something like that. And there's other pathways to get to what I'm trying to do, which is I would love to find somebody, man. That would be awesome. But right now, let's just try to make Chris Sloan smile more. Like actually smile more. The episode last week was really cool. I changed the angle up a little bit this week, just because it's easier to sit at the end of the L couch, and kind of do it like this. So that's how I'm going to do it from now on. Plus, it's got a cool dynamic. What we're going to end up doing is every week we'll try to post these things, and I hope that the conversation points are really good, because no shit, I had no idea what I was going to talk about this week, like at all, like genuinely at all. And then I was in the shower, like no shit, 2 hours ago, and was like, that. So know that I'm going to come into this fucking thing sometimes with an idea and a conversation point that I came up with right before, like moments before. And I hope you enjoy it. And what I'll put out there as a challenge, because there were quite a few of you who watched. If you do watch this to completion, which sounds hilarious, if you watch this to completion and you hear this part right now, do me one favor, hit the like button, please. That little thumbs up just helps. my ego. But also, if you put in the comments, man, if there's anything that you guys ever want to hear me talk about, or topics about your own lives that you want my perspective on, not that I'm some fucking like Dalai Lama or some shit. I like to talk. So if you have a topic you'd love me to talk about, put it in the comments. I'll read that shit. But the funniest compliment I got, fuck it, I'll read it. You don't know who it's from. I do though. They asked me for the link to the podcast, which made me laugh because I publicized the shit everywhere. But where was it at? Right here. You're so handsome, Chris, and your voice is soothing. I think this will go good. And then they like the whole, I live a midlife. It's not great, but it's mine. That was a very great compliment. I appreciated that very, very much. Talk about making someone's day. And that's another thing. At the end of the video, I don't know if you caught it, but it says, thanks again. Be good people. Peace. Or deuces. And the be good people thing, man, that's how we get through this stage of life. This phase of existence, man. Just be good. Be good to your people. Be good to people in general. Be good to yourself. There's no reason, man. It takes so much energy to be a fucking dick all the time. And I'm telling you, because as a gamer, I am always tired. No, but like, you know, I think the reason why the people that I have in my circle enjoy me in that circle is because I try to be as nice and positive and complimentary as I can, because it's important, you know? Like, the world will, if you let it, the world will tear you down, or it'll give you enough ammunition in your own mind to tear you down internally. So why not just be one of the people who fill the cup? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm walking around with a water pitcher and I'm just looking at a bunch of sad people just, man, I have some more. And I'm like, you're dope. You're fucking hilarious. I like you. Let's have a beer. And, you know, I think your art's amazing. I actually do. I'm not lying about these things. But like, you're a fucking creative person, and you know, your rap game is dope. You know, you're the baddest motherfucker on a controller. You're one of the most attractive people I've ever met. Like, I try to be complimentary. I gain nothing from it. Has it sometimes perked awards? Of course. There are people who are so hurt that they try to reciprocate compliments with extravagant, gestures, and it's not necessary. As long as you're loyal to me, you get Chris Sloan. If you're disloyal to me, you get nothing. You get isolated. You get wiped out. I don't get why people can't do that the way that I do. It costs nothing. It costs nothing. You don't have to buy me anything. You don't have to buy people anything. You could just say nice things. Or hell, even crazier than this. And this is going to fucking blow your mind. You could make a person's day by literally just doing this. Just listen to them. Let them talk. Let them vent. And don't do the thing where you're like, well, you could do. No. Shh. Let them talk. You listen. Occasionally, hit them with this. Wow. Yeah. That's true. That's true. No. That's as much talking as you need to fucking do. Let them get it out, man. Nobody listens to them. So when you're there, you get to be that. Now, don't do it pretending. I do it because I'm trying to carry the conversation. I'm reacting how I feel, being honest, but I'm giving you examples of how far those reactions should be. It shouldn't be, oh, girl, you should blah, 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 blah. I don't know anything about the situation, so my da-da-da-da-da isn't going to fucking do anything but make it worse. So, ain't worth it, man. It ain't worth it. the main thing is, be good people. That's all you got to do, man. But 30 minutes went fast, huh? Hey, make sure if you're listening to this, you're like, man, this dude should do an hour. I'm never gonna do an hour. Because if 30 minutes is enough to fill the cup, you'll come back next week for 30 minutes more. And that's what I care about. So if you enjoyed this episode, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Share it. Tell some people about it. If you think it's worth watching, of course. If you want to keep me to yourself, you can do that too, you sneaky devil. I'm a fucking weirdo. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.